want to start by saying happy 20th anniversary to you guys. Mother, 20 years. How does that feel? Like, how do you compute that? Does it feel like it's been 20 years?
Yeah, no, it feels like a lie for sure. And I mean, I think that's the case for everybody as they
Yeah.
get on. You look back and you go, that was a blink. It's not true. It couldn't be.
It is crazy. Now, what's the biggest lesson that you feel you've learned as a band in these 20 years? Because it's hard to work with the same people every day when you're digging into deep emotions, you're writing music. I feel like there can be a lot of butting heads. What's been that biggest lesson that you guys have learned to really manage all the emotions?
I mean, I think this is really simple, but like, don't quit.
Mm.
They say a good way to stay married is to not get divorced. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of opportunity to drift apart, to disband, to fracture. And if you just don't, then you stay together. Obviously, that's too simple. Sometimes you must part
Mm-hmm.
ways with
Mm-hmm.
another or an entity. But also, I think just like any relationship, when you all can recognize the union and its soul, its personality, and are we all working together to help make thrive this synergistic force, which is the sum of our parts.
Yeah.
If you all do that and understand what that is, then it's not too difficult to stay together. But it's as soon as you start feeling like who you are should be more important than who we are, then the fracture can really can really get bad.
Yeah, well, I do like the simplicity of that. Now, do you have any advice for yourself 20 years ago? Like, if you could give any piece of advice to you 20 years ago, what would you say?
I would say just the thing that you're hooking into, the vibe, the writing, the freedom, the creativity, that is the magic. Like, don't tame it, don't sterilize it,
Mm-hmm.
don't try to repackage it to be viable. Forget all of that nonsense. Just keep writing exactly as you are because it's awesome.
Stay true to yourself.
Totally.
Yeah, I love that. Well, speaking of the magic, your brand new album, Nostalgia, comes out tomorrow. Now, before we get into the unreleased music, we need to talk about the finger in the room here because you released a single called Finger. And before I even heard it, I saw your Instagram post where you wrote, when you're about to trigger the internet with a song that you wrote 20 years ago. And I thought, what's this going to be? And I pressed play, and I have to say, hats off. I love it. Where did the concept come from? What was your inspo with that one when you wrote it?
I don't know. Like, I think honestly, now, just like then, there's no inspo. It's like you just sit down and you let who you are come through some weird channel
Yeah.
of free expression. I never premeditate a song. It's like I'm gonna write a song about ass play. Like that just would never be a conversation I have with myself.
Yeah.
Or heartbreak or this thing that I went through. Like that premeditative exercise doesn't occur. You just sit down, you try to actually do as little of that as possible. You just open up. I don't know,
Mhm.
back in the day, like you're young, you're brazen, you're a little wild and I think just speaking to like what advice would you give your younger self? Like at that time, as an early songwriter, like I did not care about anything. I was just, I don't know, there's something in the air. I was like hyper inspired and I was writing tons of songs all the time and they were weird and quirky and eccentric with bizarre lyrics. And it was so beautiful that time of creativity
Mhm.
and Finger just came out of that, like it was just
Yeah.
one of those songs in the fray of all these others. And for whatever reason, maybe for obvious reasons, we didn't produce it. And
Mhm.
then so now 20 years later, in the spirit of nostalgia, it's like, you know what, let's conduct the experiment
Yeah.
and bring that song to life and see
Let's
what
do
happens.
it.
Yeah, why not?
I love that. Now, you're in a band with your sister. Was it at all weird recording that with your sister?
No, she was like a huge advocate. She's always loved that song.
Love it.
I mean, we're Feral Island kids, me and Molly. Like we don't care. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, Love to Death and Make Believe are the other singles on the album. How did you decide those three songs were going to be released before the album came out? How do you choose those songs?
I don't know. I guess they just kind of put up their hands. The songs like Make
Mhm.
Believe was fast, it was catchy, exciting, just felt like a good one to lead with. And also it had the unicorn, and so it tied into the album cover. And it's always nice to have those threads. It's like
Yeah.
new song, new album, new animal. Here's the cover, here's the song. It's nice when it's more than just a song. It's a world that births with a song.
Right. Now, speaking on that, I wanted to read you a response to your album listening party that you guys did. Somebody commented this and said, I just listened to Nostalgia. I'm speechless. The poetry, the love, the pain, the fears, and every feeling put in the lyrics and in these sweet melodies. Listening to Nostalgia for the first time has been a magical, surreal experience that I'll never feel again. How does it feel to finally get these reactions after you worked so hard on something? Now you're celebrating 20 years. How does hearing stuff like that feel to you?
Feels good, of course. Yeah. You want people to be moved in a positive direction.
Mm.
And not everybody will. It's like you scroll down and there'll be a comment that totally contradicts the one you just read. And so you try to take it all with a bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And I mean, most importantly, I'm happy we made a record feeling like the way that person just described, listening to it. Like that's the most important thing. You want to be having an authentic, emotional, connected experience when you're making your stuff. And if you do, then some people will definitely share in that person's experience.
Yeah. And is there something in particular you want people to get out of this album? Or is it, like you said, just whatever reaction comes out of them?
Yeah, not really. I mean, for me, like when life is best, I feel closer to my soul,
Mhm.
like whatever that means. That's like a bit woo or whatever, but like when I feel just calm in the trust that I'm okay as myself in the world, and music does that for me. Like when I listen to a song that I just love and I get the goosebumps, it makes me feel more like myself,
Mhm.
whoever that is. I like we're all trying to find out who we are, but music helps us just bring us a little closer. So I guess I would hope that this music would impart some of that. Like just bring people closer to not even themselves, but the quest of figuring out who they are.
Right. And with this album in particular, listen in order?
I mean, sure, we definitely were very thoughtful about the track listing,
Mhm.
but again, like sometimes you accidentally listen to the record on shuffle on iTunes, like somehow that little button gets pressed
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh my God, this is way better." Right? So like maybe we didn't pick the best track listing. Maybe
Hmm.
someone else could do it better. So I would say there are no rules.
There are no rules. I love that. Okay. Now, since we haven't heard them yet, I have a couple questions for you about the song when it came to writing them. Which song brought you the most joy to create?
Well, like Song for Jasmine definitely brought me a lot of joy because it
Hmm.
just came from such pure love for a friendship that means a lot to me. Um, and so that's just a good vibration to tap into for
Is
sure.
that the one that we're getting a music video for tomorrow as well?
Yeah, correct.
Yes. Okay. So I saw you posted a clip of that, and I instantly, because I have an older brother, you guys like banging into each other on the swing set brought me right back to like when we would go to the park all the time as kids, and I was like, "Whoa, nostalgia! There it is! It hit
Yeah,
me."
awesome.
I
That's
loved
great.
it. Now, which song brought up the most emotion for you?
Gosh, it could be the same song,
Hmm.
but also the song Nostalgia. I find nostalgia, the thing itself is it's so intoxicating and druggy and dangerous and can really lure you into the fiction of your mind. And I'm a fantastical person. I live elsewhere quite often and have a hard time sometimes merging the two worlds of my like fantasy and this reality. And so I was quite moved while I was addressing this conundrum in that song.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, which song took you the longest to put together? Whether there was challenges throughout it, or you were just kind of hitting a dead end and needed to restart?
Maybe make believe. We re-recorded the drums a bunch, and we just wanted it to sound simple. And
Mhm.
sometimes creating a simple effect is really complex. And then the mix was just like really tough. Again, just trying to make it sound like it wasn't overly mixed, just making
Right.
it sound like we just played it, um, was really tough. Yeah, we kind of beat our heads against the wall with that one.
And just polar opposite, did you have one that just completely kind of came out and it was so quick and easy and suddenly done?
Station Wagon was fluid and lovely. A lot of like the tracks on that one were just born from the demo process, just kind of, just putting it down quickly.
Right.
And like, oh, that guitar is magic. Like we don't need to do anything with that. Like one little like Spanish lick in that is from a green room in Stockholm, I think, that I recorded with my iPhone, and there's a bunch of noise
Wow.
in it, and so it's a very organic production.
That's so cool. I'm so excited to listen to it. Now, you're a BC boy, so I need to ask you, what is your favorite spot in Vancouver to go and write or to be creative?
Probably this very apartment right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live close to the trains and the shipyards,
Okay.
and there's just lots of like industrial clanging and soundscape, and that stuff really gets me. And like the last song on this record, To Regret, I wrote as I heard this cool loop coming off the tracks. And so I grabbed my guitar and I just started playing along to it. And that song in minutes was formed as
Wow.
a response to those sounds. So I love noise. It's like I don't like writing in a silent room. I want to hear like a truck backing up and the beep, beep, beep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's so cool because I feel like a lot of people would say they need quiet. They need like to find like being a peaceful. It kind of seems like you need to be in the opposite of that. The noise around, the more noise, the better.
Yeah, there's so much music in the world. There's not music. That's just the world, but it's a total symphony if you learn to hear it that way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's really cool. And you know what? A good way to look at Vancouver because it's so noisy in the city. So we just need to appreciate it more.
Absolutely. Yeah, just give in to the noise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and to put a bow on these last 20 years, what do you hope for both yourself and the band in these next 20 years?
I hope that we keep pushing ourselves to cover new ground,
Hmm.
and in doing so, we just remain authentic. You know what? I hope that individually we we follow a path of deeper self-examination. So just as people, we become more authentic and more true, so that when we come together as a band, the music just reflects that. I hope nobody like falls asleep in their life,
Right.
because as soon as you fall asleep in your life, then whether you're making a song or a meal, it's going to be sedated.
Mhm.
So that's my hope.
Got to keep living.
Yeah, you got to keep like being awake, I
Yeah.
think.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Because you can live, but you can be dead while you live.
That's true. That is very true. Well, that's some good advice for everybody, actually. And again, congratulations on the album release tomorrow. We're so excited to listen to it. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me and for all the support. We
Always.
send our love, all of us. Thank you.